Welcome to part 2 of this series, delving into every clone unit in the Grand Republic. If you haven't already, check out our first video, where we looked at every corps, legion, battalion and company from both canon and legends. We will now be looking at the various divisions within the Grand Army of the Republic. It is unknown exactly how many clone troopers typically make up a division, and where this unit type fits within the overall structure of the Republic's military.
First of all, we have a division under the 212th Attack Battalion called the 212th RECON Division. The unit took part in the Second Battle of Geonosis when the Galactic Republic invaded the planet to retake control under the direction of Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi. Phase 1 ARF armour was provided to the division so that it could focus on covert operations behind enemy lines, using desert camouflage to blend in with the planet's desert environment. During the battle, troopers Boyle and Waxer rescued an injured Kenobi after his gunship was shot down. Up next, we have the 38th Armoured Division. This division's armour was marked with mustard-coloured paint. Numerous heavy artillery units, such as juggernauts, self-propelled heavy artillery turbo laser walkers, all-terrain tactical enforcers, and Republic artillery guns were part of the 38th Armoured Division. It took part in several of the war's battles, including the Battle of Kashyyyk. Unfortunately, we know little information about these next few divisions other than a few key points. The 44th Special Operations Division was a unit under the command of Major Kendall Ozzel. They took part in the Battle of Korm and notably included the subunit Devil Dogs, led by Captain Sharp. Next, we have the 203rd Division, which during the final days of the war was sent to the planet of New Plimto. They received Order 66 whilst on the planet and started targeting their Jedi General Das Janir, as well as their old allies, the native Nazorians. Next is the 224th Armoured Division, better known as the Mud Jumpers. On Minban, they promised the natives freedom once the Separatist invasion had been repelled. The 501st Legion also briefly took part in the conflict, and the 224th succeeded. Following the formation of the Galactic Empire, the 224th returned to Minban to conquer the Minbanese and guarantee Imperial energy mining continued. At this point, they were better known as Imperial Mud Troopers. Finally, we have the 181st Armoured Division. They could be recognised by the combinations of green markings on their Phase 2 armour. The 181st Armoured Division made use of vehicles like AT-RTs and Juggernauts that allowed them to perform safe transit in hostile terrain and reinforce Republic regiments stranded in remote areas. We will now be looking at the various clone commando units deployed throughout the Clone Wars. Clone commandos were frequently ordered to carry out specific operations that the typical clone soldier could not handle, and they frequently worked in squads of 4. Firstly, we have Delta Squad, maybe the most well-known commando unit. The squad was made up of 4 clones: Sergeant Boss, Second in Command Fixer, Scorch and Sev. Delta Squad was first deployed on Geonosis and assisted in the capture of the RAS Prosecutor, as well as the rescue of fellow commandos Omega Squad. However, on Kashyyyk, Delta Team was forced to abandon one of their own, Sev, when he was separated, and Yoda gave orders to pull out immediately. Clone Force 99, often known as the Bad Batch, is next. Hunter, a clone with improved sensory abilities, served as the squad's leader. Initially, the unit was made up of 3 other commandos also created with genetic mutations. This included Wrecker, a reckless clone with an enhanced physical build and strength, Tech, a clone with improved mental capacity and intelligence, and Crosshair, who excelled in long-distance firefights due to his sharp eyesight and marksmanship. Arc Corporal Echo also enlisted with the group after the Battle of Anaxis. Because of their mutations, the unit was able to defy Order 66, All of the squad's members, save for Crosshair, defected from the Empire after disobeying orders to kill civilians and former Republic soldiers. Fugitives of the Empire, the Bad Batch worked as mercenaries during the early Imperial era. Next up is FOXTROT Group, a unit of commandos attached to the 212th Attack Battalion. At the Battle of Sarish, the unit, led by clone Captain Gregor, was reported missing in action. Captain Gregor managed to survive and was found aboard a crashed transport on the planet Aberfar, suffering from amnesia. The other commando units on our list have not been thoroughly explored, so we have only limited details on them. Omega Squad, an elite clone commando team, were gathered together after each of their individual squads were wiped out during combat on Geonosis. In contrast to other commando squads, the Omegas donned specialised night ops armour. Nina led the group on missions to KELLERS and Coruscant. Next is White Squad. This unit was tasked with a mission on Ord Mantell, where they were to recover a diplomatic package for Supreme Chancellor Palpatine from Trandoshan bounty hunters. During the mission, 3 of the 4 commandos were killed, the only survivor being the squad's leader, Sarge. Finally, we have Blue Squad, a unit that joined White Squad on their mission to Ord Mantell, but were killed almost immediately by the Trandoshan mercenaries. This penultimate section will delve into some of the notable smaller units and squads within the Grand Army of the Republic, starting with Jet's unit. During the Second Battle of Geonosis, Commander Jet was joined in command by Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi. The unit was predominantly comprised of Special Operations clone troopers, as well as flame troopers, experts in the use of flamethrowers and other incendiary weapons. Armour used by flame troopers was made to withstand the extreme heat they frequently encountered, and they were equipped with brown and yellow markings. At a later date of the war, Anakin Skywalker led members of Jet's unit on a stealth mission alongside Commander Blackout. Next, we have Domino Squad, who were first seen as cadets training on Kamino. The squad consisted of Heavy, Cut Up, Droid Bait, FAIE'S, and Echo. After completing their training, the group was assigned to an outpost on the Rishi Moon. A Separatist assault on the base claimed the lives of the majority of the squad, with only FAIE'S and Echo surviving the ordeal. Due to their bravery, the 2 were incorporated into the 501st Legion. The MUUNILINST 10 were a select unit of ARC troopers and specially trained clone troopers under the command of ARC Captain Fordo. The ARC Alpha Lieutenants and Captain Fordo were trained by Jango Fett himself. They were given their name in honour of the role they played in the destruction of the defensive cannon on MUUNILINST. In addition, they would fight alongside Obi-Wan Kenobi to seize the Banking Clan's headquarters and vanquish the Separatist bounty hunter Dirge. As well as the Battle of MUUNILINST, Fordo and his men were present at the Battle of Hypori and Coruscant. Next, we have Trauma's unit, a squad of ARF troopers under the direction of Commander Trauma and Jedi Master Halsey. This troop was tasked with guarding the Temple of Edith on Deveron against invading Separatist forces. Count Dooku sent his new apprentice, Savage Opress, to take the temple, and although Commander Trauma and his men resisted, they were quickly massacred. WAXER'S platoon was a unit within the 212th Attack Battalion, and was commanded by clone Lieutenant Waxer. During the Republic's campaign on the world of Umbara, the platoon learned from Jedi General Pong Krell that the Umbarans had destroyed a clone unit and were camouflaged with their armour. Captain Rex of the 501st Legion had, however, received the same intel. Before the realisation of Krell's treason, the ensuing skirmish resulted in significant deaths for both clone units. Although Lieutenant Waxer was killed in the battle, the platoon worked with the 501st remaining infantry to capture General Krell. Phil's squad was a unit led by Commander Phil and Jedi General Nadar Veb. Their armour was decorated with maroon markings. The team rendezvoused with Jedi General Kit Fisto on the planet Vasek before discovering General Grievous's lair. Commander Phil and his squad, Fisto and Veb entered the lair and encountered several battle droids. The troopers would attempt an ambush on Grievous, resulting in the deaths of 2 members of Phil's squad. Magna Guards ambushed and killed 2 additional men in the squad. Gore, a deadly creature owned by Grievous, would later kill Commander Phil, the final member of the squad. Next, we have Breakout Squad, a group of clone troopers led by Clone Captain Locke, equipped with dark grey markings on their Phase 1 armour. The squad would work with Jedi Master Mbaze on a number of deadly but highly successful missions that gained the attention of Darth Sidious himself. Next, we have FAIE'S Unit, a squad under the direction of Commander Faye. The clone's by-the-book and no-nonsense style irritated his Jedi superior Quinlan Vos. The unit was sent to the planet Saleucami and then to Kashyyyk to defend the Wookiees from the Separatist Alliance. During the Great Jedi Purge, Faye injured Vos by shooting him in the stomach. A wounded Vos would then kill Commander Faye before he could destroy a Wookiee village. Vos then killed a large number of the unit before burning their commander's body in his Jedi robes, so that the rest of the clone unit would not hunt him. Clone Commander Keller led a squad of clone troopers and galactic marines named KELLERS Unit. Near the end of the war, the unit took part in an assault on the Confederacy's major generators on Tula. Many troopers in Keller's unit wore white galactic marine armour, whilst others wore standard Phase 2 armour. Some troopers in the unit also had yellow markings on their shoulder plates. Finally, we have Advanced Squad, a group led by an unidentified ARC captain. They were sent to the planet Nadim to evacuate refugees alongside Jedi Master Luminara Unduli and Barriss Offee. When the Separatists arrived, Advanced Squad set up an ambush, pretending to be dead. Once the Separatists had passed, they planted explosives along the canyon and took sniping positions, destroying all of the nearby droids. Despite their efforts, a number of Jedi were killed at the Battle of Nadium. The focus of this last section will be on some of the most notable clone starfighter squadrons throughout the Clone Wars. We will be starting off with Shadow Squadron. They were an elite squadron of at least 12 clone trooper pilots, led by Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker, and included clone pilots Matchstick and Broadside. Early in the war, these Y-Wing pilots were instrumental in disabling Grievous's flagship, the Malevolence. During the Battle of Kamino, Shadow Squadron took part in defending the planet against the Separatist assault. Starfighters under General Skywalker's command engaged Separatist cruisers, crippling a number of them. The squadron also took part in the Battle of Kadavo and the defence of the Republic's capital, Coruscant. Next, we have Clone Flight Squad 7, a squadron of ARC 170 starfighters under the command of Clone Commander Oddball. During the Battle of Coruscant, Squad 7 shielded Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker as they moved to save the captured Supreme Chancellor Palpatine from the Invisible Hand, General Grievous's flagship. Blue Squadron was a unit of 10 clone trooper pilots who served under the command of Jedi Commander Ahsoka Tano. At the Battle of Ryloth, they flew V-19 Torrent starfighters. As Tano led the squadron into battle against the Separatist blockade, she received orders to abandon the assault, which she recklessly ignored, pressing the assault forwards. This cost her her squadron, as only 2 of her pilots survived the battle. Following next, we have Gold Squadron, a starfighter squadron primarily composed of Y-Wings and led by Jedi General Anakin Skywalker. Gold Squadron took part in the Battle of Bothawi early in the conflict, as well as the Battle of Anaxis toward the end of the war. Red Squadron was a starfighter force that took part in the Second Battle of Geonosis, supplying reinforcements to Republic forces on Point Rain. Red Squadron was comprised of at least 12 Y-wing bombers, with red markings used to indicate the unit's affiliation. Finally, there was Razor Squadron, which used ARC 170 starfighters customised with intricate decorations inspired by fearsome creatures. They participated in special operations on Coruscant, Geonosis, and Cato Lemoidia.
If you enjoyed this video on every known unit within the Grand Army of the Republic, then check out this video on every single clone that disobeyed Order 66. If you're interested in seeing a similar video on every Imperial soldier variant, then subscribe and drop a comment below.